Zeynep rahatsız etme, buraya gel.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So we have been discussing Surah An-Najm for quite some time, and Alhamdulillah, Brother Birkan did the heavy lifting. He talked about the tougher topic of angels, which is going to be quite beneficial for us as we will go through the surah, inshallah. And so as we mentioned before, Surah An-Najm, this is a surah revealed in Mecca, and it is considered as it explains the ascension of the Messenger, ﷺ, his night journey, Isra and Mi'raj. So, and in this context, Brother Birkan talked about angels, Brother Birkan talked about revelation, why or how revelation is related with angels. Do you receive revelation as a human being? What does it mean for you? Or whether is it that you can talk to angels? Or when we say Jibreel, what does that mean? So these were the things that were discussed in the previous discussions. So inshallah, from now on, we will just refer to those previous discussions and inshallah go through the verses and try to put the pieces together in today's discussion, inshallah. So, وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى. So the first 5 verses, Brother Birkan already covered them. I'm just showing them again to put a few words on top of them so that we remember the big picture. وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى, by the star when it descends. مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَى. Your companion has not strayed, nor has he deluded. وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى, nor does he speak out of his own desire. إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيُ يُوحَى, it is not but a revelation revealed. عَلَّمَهُ شَدِيدُ الْقُوَى, taught to him by one with intense in strength. ذُو مِرَّةٍ فَاسْتَوَى, possessor of absolute authority, who rose to true form or stood firmly. So I'll just put a few questions here. So the surah again starts with wow, وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى. We have seen several surahs which start like that, and like وَالضُّحَى, وَالتِّينِ. So we have studied these surahs before, and whenever an oath happens, it is first, I'm not referring to the notes over there, it has to be a self-evident proof in and of itself, because I am bringing something evidence to you that which you do not know. So what I bring as evidence should be clear so that it justifies the unknown for you. So in here, وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى, by the star when it descends, is the oath. And this is going to be really supporting the claim that follows. So it should be self-evident in the first place. It should be something that I know of. The second thing is it should be related to the topic that will follow, because I'm trying to prove a point. If my evidence is irrelevant, then it's not an evidence at all. And the third is it should really be able to prove the point that will come next. So we remember these. And in this case, what is being brought as evidence is وَالنَّجْمِ, the star, when it ascends. And then the question becomes, which star? What do we mean by star? Which star is this referred to? And it's also talking about hawa as it descends, a star as it descends. So this, now let's pose it as a question for now. as I'll go to the next slide. But my expectation is that this, once I understand what Najm is, and by observing the time that this star is descending, which should be self-evidently clear to me, the next verse, the next couple of verses should become self-evident or would be supported. And what are those verses? مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَى. Your companion has not strayed, nor has he deluded. وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى. Nor does he speak out of his own desire. إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيُ يُوحَى. It's not but a revelation revealed. So these are the three verses that are question mark for me. These are the unknown for me. And the initial verse was there, the oath is there to support the unknown here. And the unknown is there's this human being who is saying that here is a speech, but it's not my speech, although you hear it from my mouth, this is speech of God. So it's a huge question mark over there. Some people would say, and still today, even they say, this man is just speaking out of his own desire, or he's deluded, he is possessed, or what he is saying is totally nonsense or inaccurate. All these claims are there. So apparently, this oath is, say, proving it otherwise. This oath, وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى, should be proving that the Prophet that is not strayed, like he is not in dhalala, is like ideologically, in terms of his thought, he is not deluded, nor he is strayed, and he doesn't speak out of his own desire. But whatever he says is revelation. In this context, I'll get back to the Najm, and then we'll come back to the next verse again. So Najm, as was mentioned when Brother Bikan was presenting, so Najm could be understood as unfolding. One word or one meaning of the name, word Najm is something that unfolds step by step. For Quran, they say it was revealed munajjaman, like step by step, it was revealed. Scholars also talked about certain stars in the like night sky, but it was not as clear to me how it would prove the point. It can, in a way, you can say that the creation, by observing the creation, you can conclude that what Prophet says is the truth. But then we can argue why the specific star and whatnot. But still, in this sense, it might make sense. But apart from that, I will go with Imam Nursi's interpretation here. He takes, in Quranic terminology, when Najm is mentioned, he refers to the verses of Quran. Says every verse of Quran is like a star in the darkness. And the first meaning, the munajjaman, like step-by-step revelation, also alludes to that because the verses of Quran came within a 23-year of time span. So I would like to go with that interpretation now. When Najmi idha hawa, and it also makes sense with this hawa in this case, when it descends, revelation is descending from on high, from up high. So in this context, when Najmi idha hawa could be understood as just look at the revelation, look at what the messenger is telling you. It itself is going to be a proof that the person is not deluded, nor is he strayed, nor he is speaking out of his own desire. It is nothing but revelation. If you pay attention to the speech itself, and the fact that it is coming step by step, not still being consistent within itself and also within the existence itself. And it's not like, oh, let's undo what was said back in the day. I said, like there was a politician, a famous politician in Turkey. They said, oh, you said at some point You said this and you underlined it. He says, did I say underline it? Yeah. Now just cross over it. He says, line over it, not underline it, but line over it. So this is how humans are. We say something. Human speech is, I say something today. 5 years later, I say, well, yeah, I changed my opinion. Or I grew, now I know better. I was less knowledgeable back then. Revelation comes within like step by step, but it stays the same if you think about it as a historically revealed text, yet it doesn't show the signs of a historical narration in the sense that there is a updates or changes here and there. So the way the revelation comes, so it makes sense that it's an oath when Najm إذا هوى, that Sahibukum, your friend, is not deluded. And Brother Bikan mentioned this, Sahibukum, why is it your friend? Because you know this person very well. He has been among you. He talked to you. The words sahaba, sahib, is related to having a constant conversation. So he has been living among you. But he has not strayed, nor deluded, nor does he speak out of his own desire. So Brother Bikan mentioned and emphasized this in the previous discussion, saying that why is this important, that the messenger should not be deluded, nor strayed, nor speaking out of his own desire. Again, just to remind, I'm going to throw a few words in there. First, as I was referring to in the beginning, revelation is going to be an evidence for that. But apart from that, prophet speaking out of his own desire, for instance, even if it was, he was saying something good, that would be a huge lie. Like if, probably you heard about it, Prophet ﷺ says, if anybody fabricates a word in my mouth, let him prepare his place in hell. You heard about that? Like if anybody says, oh, Prophet said this and this and that, but Prophet didn't say such a thing, Prophet says, let that person prepare his place in hell. Why? What is at stake? Because if I mean, it might even be something good. I could say to Qadir, oh, Prophet said that if Qadir feeds the poor, it's going to be good for Qadir. Like apparently I'm saying something good, but Prophet didn't say such a thing, but I'm putting a word into Prophet's mouth, apparently with good intentions. But this is eventually something bad for multiple reasons. First, what sort of a prophet are you imagining that you are trying to manipulate people with that? But no matter what it is, it's a lie at the end of the day. Now, when it comes to a human being saying that God said this, what sort of a lie is that? Although it's not speech of God. So just imagine the level of this. Why am I mentioning that? Because as we mentioned, Brother Bikan was mentioning in the previous discussions, this is what the Western world, how the Western world is taking Prophet as. Like he was a smart person. He really revolutionized the barbaric Arabs, the Bedouin Arabs, but he just spoke in a way that they can understand. Like he said, oh, God says this, because they were scared of God. And he used some story-like thing because like they were simple people. This is why he spoke like that. He was just trying to convert them to be civilized people. Which language did they understand? They were scared of a God. So he said, yeah, God says this, sure. Like it's God's speech. What's at stake here is, whomever says this, oh, Muhammad was a perfect person, yet like it was not a revelation what he received. He was just speaking as such so that people start behaving. This is a huge problem. There's a huge problem in that. Is that clear to you? when I say that. So this is why the alarm bells should go ringing if somebody says some agnostic or an atheist person comes and says, oh, Muhammad was a great person, yet he was not a prophet. We should say, well, something fishy going on in here, because he cannot be a good person, yet not be a prophet. Because if he's not a prophet, yet claiming that what I say is speech of God, he's a huge liar. Such a huge liar cannot be a good person, because this is not a small lie we are talking about. So, because what prophet presents to me, what is at stake is not only my worldly life here, but my eternal life. So what he says to be true, him not getting deluded, not getting strayed, or speaking out of his desire is so crucial for me. And not only that, as the surah is going to be about his journey, this says something too. The revelation is a conclusion or a fruit of his journey too. Like Quran is speech of the creator. Like, for example, if I say I studied PhD for 6 years, and then here's the fruit of my PhD, which is my thesis. What do I claim here? I put effort and I managed to get this. It's my product. I produced it. In the case of Messenger, though, he is going through a journey, but the product is not his product, but what he received. Like, as a very conscious student, what he received is the outcome, and it's very relevant to me, which is wahy.
Oh, like, although we mentioned this before, but when you speak of it, like I got excited again. It's really very important, very, I would say, exceptional way of taking profit in Islam, in Quran. And I think there is a very strong link between how we take revelation, how we take profit, and how we take hereafter. So when we read Quran, the revelation, as this is just a text after all, and it has some beautiful stories, it has some beautiful messages, and I will read them, but it's a fixed text. It is a text, yet just like any other text, but much better than them. And I will read it as it is, and I will try to get some lessons out of it. This is our usual approach to Quran, right? There's a story, I will get a lesson out of it. And this is not much different than, that is not categorically different than a text from Dostoevsky, right? Better in grammar, they say, and those who know Arabic, let's assume they're right. They say this is better in grammar, better in the prose, and so on and so forth. Stories are maybe more engaging. I don't know. You have to comprehend. The same way, the prophet is another guy, yet another guy, much better than the other people, best of the people, but still a person. And what he says is what he says, what he thinks. He thinks the best way, but this is what he thinks. And I will try to extract whatever I can out of it. This is, again, our usual way of approaching profit, unfortunately. When we do that, our relationship with religion is based on good intentions. We say, I hope this is true. I hope the guidance he provided, the prophet, is applicable to my life as well. And when we do that, hereafter becomes again a good wish. We say, we don't know what will happen, but we will see. Inshallah, we will see that whatever promised in Quran is true. Inshallah, whatever promised by my mom, my father, and so on is true. Now, I don't know, I just believe, we say. This is the usual approach to religion.
Mhm.
But as described here, as you beautifully mentioned, when the revelation becomes the speech of God, that directly speaking to you, descending to our level, to my level, as we've been discussing last few weeks, right? Every word I read is speaking to me. So it's changing, constantly changing. It's not a text. It's a dynamic speech, miraculously taking shape of the words, right? Miraculous because it's the same word you see and I see, but how it applies to me, the meaning and so on is changing. So miraculous. Now it is categorically different than the text of Dostoevsky, because it only applies to a certain period and so on and so forth. You can get a lesson out of it. But with Quran, there's no lesson to take out of it. It's a direct speech to you. I mean, if you want to take it as a lesson, it's a one-on-one lesson, just for you. The same way the prophet, as described here, whatever he says, again, is a miraculous speech. Not his words, not bounded to his time and so on, directly applicable to me as well, at least the core of it. The shape, just like the words, right? Shapes are fixed. So if you were wearing sandals, you were wearing sandals. I'm wearing shoes, doesn't matter. What it means, the same thing. I mean, the applicable to me as well. So it's not yet another guy with best ideas and so on. His sunnah is miraculously reaching me. When we take it this way, the relationship with hereafter becomes that God is speaking to me, showing me evidence all the time, and I know by heart for sure is whatever said here, as you said about the oath and so on and so forth. I can verify, I can validate all of these miraculously again. And when I talk about the hereafter, it is something I know, that I have evidence in this life. Because my relationship with revelation and the Lord is an ongoing dynamic relation. He's speaking to me. He's showing me how I will apply it to in my life, the Sunnah, and so on. So my relationship with hereafter is not that I hope, but I know. So the moment we lose this miraculous aspect, everything about the religion, I feel like just fall apart.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't misunderstand, but I know seems a little too confident too, though. Like,
Who?
I know seems too confident in the spectrum of like, I guess maybe like the reason why I'm on the spectrum that you kind of explained so well, is because I'm like, do I know definitely that like that's my end? I'm not sure, and I think like the aspect that I agree with is the fact that like you know what you're doing at the very least, right? So at least like there's some, I guess, self-convincing that you're doing, and so I'm convincing myself in some ways that like I don't know to the extent, but like I don't know if I actually like completely know either. Like I know that there's a part where I'm playing and I'm like downplaying something like, but there's small aspect that I'm like, who I know. I guess like what shouldn't there be so far?
Actually, this is a very good question to raise because this we will here study at the journey of the Messenger, والسلام, which I should liken to my journey. So what he see and what he said is so surely a revelation. But then how about what I say? Because verse will come there, it would say, do you dispute what he saw? So what Prophet was saying was so certain. What Prophet was mentioning was not simply, or somebody whispered it to my ear and I'm just delivering it to you. I don't know really. I'm not sure about it really. But I am sure it's God, so I'm not messing it up. But what I say is what I hear. But in terms of content, I'm not really sure. This was not the standpoint of the messenger, as we will see in the upcoming verses. This should also tell me about myself. Where am I going to stand in here? Yes, is there going to be a point where I would say 100%? If there is, then there wouldn't be tomorrow, because that means I'm at the pinnacle of it. But it could be that right now I will say I am 100% sure, but tomorrow I will reach a better 100% than today. What I mean by that is, you love your mom, and you think that you love your mom more than anything, 100%, because relative to any other love, you say, well, in the spectrum of love, mom is 100%. I don't know, Trump is 0%. I mean, our guy, unfortunately. So just to give an example. And then this is your scale for now. But tomorrow, your mom calls you, you're so much down at some moment, and you're feeling lonely. Out of nowhere, it's not her schedule, yet she calls you at this moment and says, oh, I just felt something bad about you. How are you? She just called you. Your 100% bar just pushed a little more. Still, it's 100%. But you love your mom more. It's not that, oh, actually, yesterday I was loving my mom 80%. No, still, it was your 100%. But your 100% bar is pushed further. So your conviction could be ultimate conviction for you up to this moment, but you will get more convinced tomorrow. Your journey will continue. So Badr becomes, I know in this sense, could be to whatever extent you are sure. This doesn't mean that your journey ends there. You should get to be more knowing, more sure tomorrow. But if you are saying, well, now that I am backtracking the other side, well, I am more sure about something else than this one, then there's a problem there, though. Because Iman should be an ultimate conviction, as if you are seeing it, as if you are touching it. But there are levels. This is why in this surah, again, there's going to be multiple journeys. Prophet didn't have a single journey, as the verses will allude to. It was not, oh, Miraj happened this night, this day, this location in Mecca at that time. It was not once upon a lifetime event for the messenger. Yes.
And I think this is really important, the confidence. So what I'm trying to say is that we cannot have confidence, like at the utmost level, with the words of a human being. Like Yusuf says something, I like him, I know that he knows his, what he's speaking and so on and so forth, but still, it's Yusuf. I trust him. I say, oh yeah, probably it is true, right? So my relationship with what he says is mixed with a little bit confidence, a little bit trust, a little bit hope. With any human being, we have such a relationship with what they say. Just pure confidence cannot be there among human beings. So that's the reason, the emphasis is there. This is not yet another guy speaking. This is something that you have confidence. So to the extent we are convinced that I am interacting with the speech of God, confidence comes, again, in different levels, as Yusuf said, by itself, right? I say, I don't know, like, I don't know what to do. Somebody needs to show me the way. This is the starting point. And this is the hardest part, because in our state, we are never in a state we confess that I don't know, somebody needs to show me. We always in a state that I know this much, she knows that much. If we come together, we will have a bigger knowing and so on. This is what we are.
Is this bad?
Sorry?
Is this bad?
This is, it means you don't have any confidence. You cannot have any confidence because this is a human being. I'm a human being. When I take the prophet as yet another human being, there's no confidence. I will get try to benefit it as much as I can, but that's all. To the moment, to the extent I say, no, I don't know anything. She doesn't know, he doesn't know. My creator must speak to me. Then, to the extent I convince this is the speech of the creator, I will have confidence in it. We don't have confidence because we take it as yet another speech, yet another text.
And I think one important point there is, although you sound nice, but do I have this distinction, which is speech of man versus speech of God? Is it really different for me?
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Because in our society, there is no such thing.
Yeah.
Everything is man-made. Everything. Yeah. Nobody would accept that. Would accept otherwise.
Yeah. This is why Muhammad was a good person. He was a smart man. He was just trying to revolutionize or tame the Bedouins. So he's speaking this way. Still, it's speech of man, a wise man in the eyes of the colonizers. But still, he just speaks in a way that they can relate to. And he really did a good revolution at that day and whatnot. But still, it's a speech of man in the eyes of that. Is it different for me? Like, forget about what colonizers thought. What do I have a different? Do I understand something different when I say speech of God versus speech of man? Yes, Dorothy.
Before the confidence, is there a room for questioning? It's
Sure. Sure.
I'm like, it's hard to reach that confidence if you've never said possibility versus not. And is that not possible unless I say I don't know? So I have to start, do I have to start with that base or can I just be like, what do you know? What do I know? Let's buy.
Yeah, so I think definitely you have questions. Like human has questions. I am hungry now and there's food outside. So I cannot say that, well, no, I have food in my stomach. No, right, not right now. I just had a breakfast in the morning. So I need to eat food. So questions are there. Need is there. But do I seek the answer? To the extent that I seek answer, for example, I go home and I eat food and I feel full. So at this moment, do I say I am completely full? I think this is the confidence part. But apart from that, what he was referring to as connecting information part, in order to be, am I in expectation of revelation? Do you expect God to talk to you? Like, for example, if I go and try to teach Kadir about mechanics, I would say, well, I don't need you to tell me anything about mechanics because I'm a mechanical engineering. Like you CS guys, you think you know everything. You know nothing about mechanics. Shut up, he would say, right? So he's not in need of me talking to him about mechanics because he knows it, or at least he thinks that he knows it better than I do. So he's not in expectation of me talking to him about mechanics, right? Do you expect God to talk to you? You would say no if you think like, well, I know. Or you can say, well, at least I know partially. And if I put enough effort, I can know more. If not me, I can go and knock the door of Bir Khan and he will tell me a little more, like who the God is at the end of the day. Like, if not today, 1,000 years from now, we will know more. This is why current civilization says we don't need revelation. Like, we find it out. We already know, and we can know more. We don't need any supposedly supernatural thingy to talk to us. This is the idea. If I can admit that, no, I do not know, I am in need of knowledge being given to me. Even the tiniest knowledge is being given to me, has been given to me, including, oh, milk is something tasty, so I should drink more when I was a small baby. Did I learn it or it was taught to me? Oh, this lady seems to be a merciful lady. Like small babies, when they see mom, they get excited. Where did they learn this from? Who taught them? Did they learn it by themselves or was it taught to them? The moment I realized that I have been taught since the beginning, then I will be open to learning more from the same source. The whole discussion started with Iqra, but when Quran talks about beginning of human beings, it talks about وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ. God taught Adam the names. It's again teaching. God taught Adam, the small baby, that mercy, what mercy means. Because when you smile at a baby smiles back. Where did the baby learn smiling is something good? It was taught. Human is taught. As I am open to this idea of learning, then I will expect Creator to talk to me. Then I know that revelation is a different thing. So Wahi is a different thing. I am in such an expectation. Then when I see a person saying that this is speech of God, I will pay attention. And the revelation itself, what he brings in his hand, An-Najm in this case, like the verses, will testify that this person who is speaking is neither strayed nor deluded, nor speaking out of his own desire. Just look at the words of the revelation itself. It itself speaks that I am nothing but Wahi. And I was expecting something already, such a thing. I should be in expectation of such a thing already. Babies are in expectation of milk when they are first born. It's an innate need for a baby. A human being, if you pay attention to yourself, you are in innate need of your Creator talking to you. The other day, a student came to my office. He was just saying that, well, can I do research with you? And that student took some course before from me. I said, why? What are you searching for? He said, well, I did some web development and I felt like it's not my thing. I said, well, did you try machine learning? It seems to be the new thing for you, for at least for the next 10 years and whatnot. And I said, well, maybe, yeah, I should try it and this and that. Then I realized that there's some void in there, but it's neither web development nor machine learning nor doing research. We dig deeper. He agreed on that. I agreed on that, that there's a void in there which cannot be filled with any of these. That void is this void. Like the baby had this void of milk in her stomach, human has this void, and this void is not filled up with anything else. My Creator should tell me, why am I here? This is what fills up that gap.
Out of curiosity, did you do research with the guy or not?
No, inshallah, he'll be joining discussion on Friday.
Okay. So the guy goes to butcher. The guy goes to butcher, asks for meat. Butcher asks why, and then they told, and the guy goes home without meat.
Okay. Yeah. Inshallah, meat will be delivered on Friday. Yes.
You said you should be in expectation of revelation. So how would you define that expectation?
Like the void is there, and you have questions, as the earth was saying, but I don't have answers.
But should you feel like you are owed those answers?
You are owed. Like, I mean, awe has a certain connotation, but I can say from one meaning of the word awe, yes, meaning whomever put this stomach in here, and seemingly like he creates leaves over there, he creates sunlight in there. So it looks like there's this relationship. Once I observe this need and supply, I would say, well, here is the need too, there's the supply. I would be in expectation due to the order I observe. Otherwise, I would say, how dare you don't give it to me? You owe me that. Not in this sense, but I would say the way you have been acting all around me, I always see wherever there's a need, you also provide supply. I have this need of questions, so I would expect supply for that too.
So you're a mechanical engineer, you find out a new device, let's say a spacecraft or something like that, right? For element technology. You study it and you realize there's an engine. Like there's something that looks like an engine. There is another thing which looks like a tank, like a gas tank, right? You say, okay, there must be a type of gas or fuel, that feeds the engine, right? You said there must be. Whoever designed this, or to have somewhere a special type of fuel just for this machine. Otherwise, whoever made this was out of his mind. And you look at the pipes, everything, and so on. You said the fuel must be in such a shape or such a chemical properties and so on and so forth. You say, but we don't have such a fuel on Earth. But the machine is there, so there must be this type of fuel that will feed this engine somewhere in the galaxy because it's alien technology, right? There must be, you say. Whoever create this, make this all to have this fuel somewhere. Yeah, like this is how I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I would like to put a question mark on the word awe is because there's this other meaning of awe where you demand something from that. Like not in this sense of the word, but yeah, definitely in the other sense. So let's continue with these. In huwa illa wahyu yuha, follow up with the same verse again. Allamahu shadidul quwa dhu mirratin fastawa. So what he speaks, the prophet speaks, is nothing but revelation, but that revelation is taught to him by one in intense strength. ذو مرة فاستوى. ذو مرة, so possessor of absolute authority or power, and fastawa is like translated in multiple ways. He rose to true form, they say, or as it stands in the verse, Ar-Rahman ala al-arsh istawa, so he encompassed it or firmly stand over it. So what does that mean? I'm not going to go word for word here, but now we are referring back to Wahi, revelation. Here I am taking you back to again An-Najm, because this is how when Najm Idha Hawa, the oath started, and now it is being tied back to Wahi. So now I am giving Nursi his due when he interpreted verses as the stars, as the Najm. This is making a good relation, or it ties it back in here. So it's a beautiful connection. And revelation unfolding, munajjaman, revelation descending to you and me, not only to the messenger. Although Mus'haf is there today, you can just reach out to the shelf and take Mus'haf, the whole revelation in between two of your fingers, figuratively speaking. But Quran will get revealed to you stage by stage too. Because the truth that Quran unreveals to you will again open up to you stage by stage, which also again has been the case for the messenger in his personal journey too, as we will see. Okay. And now let's come to allamahu part, taught to him by one intense in strength. Brother Bikan was mentioning that if you say, I know, then you wouldn't need somebody to tell you. Qadir, since he claims that he knows mechanical engineering stuff, he says, I don't need Yusuf to tell me anything about that. He is close to my suggestions, right? If I can admit that I am being taught, I am in need of being given, then I would say I do not know, as Prophet reportedly said in the cave. When angel came to him and said, read, he said, I don't know how to read. If I am able to say such a thing, if I am open, then I will be taught. But if I pretend as if I know, then since I am not open to learning, even if somebody teaches me, I wouldn't learn. I am unteachable in this case, really, because I say I know. Allamahu shadid al-quwa, so Prophet was taught, human is taught, if human is open for learning. And taught by shadid al-quwa, so for these parts, generally speaking, referring back to the previous discussions, how does this training happen? This is where I will bring in weeks of discussion about angels. So look at the creation. We talked about somebody bringing a rose to say that I love you, right? So that rose is teaching you, if you do not know that the guy loved you, now you know the guy loves you because he brings in a rose, right? The universe, the creation is teaching me about my creator. By observing your mom, you say that creator of my mom is the provider of mercy, which I was in need of. Like by creating my mom for me, my creator provided me with mercy. So, and the creation is manifestation of power, knowledge and wisdom, but more so power. This is why people get like mesmerized by the power that's being manifest in the whole existence, even in the very minute particles, which we call as like nuclear weapon. Even in a single particle, so much power is manifest in there. But think about the manifestation of power of a very beautiful newborn baby. Because like in my research, we are now working on some Arduino chips, which are very small computers. And my advisor and I were looking at, wow, this small thing over here, back in my childhood, I had a desktop computer like this. It was not doing 1/10 of the job that the small chip is doing. And we are in awe of the technology that the people put in the small chip, that it can make so much computation. Manifestation of knowledge, power, wisdom, everything in there. Who is teaching here? The one of mighty power, the one who is manifesting his power in this existence. I took it as the creator now. I can also take it as Angel Jibreel, who is the one that's teaching in here, because these are sort of layers of teaching. Like if you take it as teacher teaches me, you can also take it as, well, teacher also appointed a teaching assistant to teach me. Teacher also has prepared an assignment to teach me. At the end of the day, teacher is teaching you. Sometimes by means of a reading assignment, sometimes by means of a programming assignment, by means of a teaching assistant in an office hour. At the end, the teacher is the actual teacher, the ultimate teacher. So the creator is the ultimate teacher. But he also teaches to me through prophets. He also teaches to me through Jibreel, the angel. And with that, I am closing all what we discussed with angels in the past discussions.
So we keep using the word learn. Like when I'm listening from somebody else, it started early on. use because like here it says teach, right? It doesn't say he learned from the one with intense power. But the one intense power taught him. It may sound, the indifferent to two of them, but especially, sorry?
But putting the emphasis
Yeah,
on
exactly. When we say learn, the emphasis is on I.
the recipient.
Yeah, exactly. Like I do something and I learn,
Mm.
especially within our society. As we become more and more self-learners, right? I don't need anyone to teach me, I will learn it. We say, okay, oh, you are a great data analyst. I learned it myself. Oh, you are doing these walls perfectly, whatever. I learned myself, we say, right? So the emphasis is I, the recipient. With the teach, though, it's just a blank state and we receive it. So there's a very interesting, nuance there, I guess.
Yep. And when it comes to the angel teaching me, we talked about how, just referring with 1-2 sentence, as I say, Qadir is different than Qadir's body. Qadir has a conscious being in there, which I interact with. And when I say the existence is a manifestation of power, it is just another Qadir in there. Like the universe is another type of a creation like Qadir is. And as Qadir has this conscious representative, Qadir's spirit is the conscious representative of this flesh and bones, if you like. The conscious representative of this whole existence with which I have a conversation with. So Jibreel alayhi salam, there should be such a thing. In the language of Quran, it's called angel. And Jibreel alayhi salam has been the angel of revelation, saying, the universe speaks to you with the sign language, and here comes the human language with which you can have a conversation with. And that is still today, to you, that door is open. Having this conversation, whenever you sit before the Quran, you are attempting to have this conversation with the angel of revelation to the extent that you are aware. So now comes an interesting part. So we have 8 minutes. وَهُوَ بِالْأُفُقِ الْأَعْلَى, while he was in the utmost part of the horizon, بِالْأُفُقِ الْأَعْلَى, ثُمَّ دَنَا فَتَدَلَّى, then he drew near and came close, came down. فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى, and was at a distance of 2 bow lengths or nearer. فَأَوْحَى إِلَى عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى, and he revealed to his abd what he revealed. مَا كَذَبَ الْفُؤَادُ مَا رَأَى, the heart did not falsify. The heart did not falsify what he saw. أَفَتُمَارُونَهُ عَلَى مَا يَرَى, so will you dispute with him over what he sees? وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ نَزْلَةً أُخْرَى, and verily he saw him yet another time. So here we start talking about the journey of the messenger now. Okay. وَهُوَ بِالْأُفُقِ الْأَعْلَى. In general, let me first make a general statement. It starts from Ufuq al-A'la, at the utmost horizon. ثُمَّ دَنَا, then gets near and then comes down. فَتَدَلَّى فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى, so much so that as if it is distance of 2 bows or even less than that. And then فَأَوْحَى إِلَى عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى. After this, 3 stages of getting near, close, then the revelation is taking place. In a nutshell, this is what's going on in here. The bigger picture I see here is there's a distance and getting near. I have a few questions there. بالأفق الأعلى. Who is far? Like, وهو بالأفق الأعلى. He has been at the utmost of the horizon. Who is that? Who is this distant one? This could be like some interpreters take this as Angel Jibril appeared at the horizon in his actual form, not in the form of a human being or anything else, but in his actual form, and who has been what's it? Istawa,
Huge wings.
with huge wings, but his istawa, like he was just encompassing the whole horizon, covering the whole horizon. This is one way people take it. Can be taken as such, but I'm not going to go that route. This is a journey. This is describing the journey of the Messenger ﷺ, and talking about the Creator's journey to eventually talk to the Creator. So what sort of a journey is that, is what I'm going to ask. And my follow-up questions are, what is the source of this journey? What is the destination of this journey? Where does the journey start? Where does it end? And how does this journey happen? Who is moving in this journey? Because we say Prophet's ascension, but the verses in here are referring to sort of a descent. So, in a nutshell, and how would I know that? Of course, look at to yourself too, because this is the journey of a prophet as human being, but at the end of this journey, he will receive revelation. So the beginning part of the journey is an abd, like you and me. This is why the journey is relatable to me. Like, this is not a journey exclusively for a prophet. This is a human journey. So where does the journey start from? We call it ascension, yet it's being described as a descent. Why? What's going on in here? Yes.
I think something, not about the question, but like one may ask, where did journey come from? Like I don't see any journey in the islands and so on. If I'm not mistaken, there are two reasons we're talking about the journey here. The one is traditional, these ayahs are read as speaking of the Miraj, the ascension, as you said, hence the journey, because the Miraj was a journey representing the entire journey in just one night and so on. Entire journey of the Prophet. The second reason is, again, the way I see it, is when we talk about the ufuk, like the horizon, it automatically implies a journey, because the horizon is a target that you're trying to reach, or a state that you are at currently. But as, like, when you go to the horizon, you realize that it's just another place. Now there's another horizon. So the journey, like, the thing is inherent to the word ufuk.
Yes, Jazakallah khair. That's right. So you can never reach horizon, which is interesting. You can never reach horizon. And likewise, if I ask the question, can I ever reach the Creator? What does it mean? Because this is something that I would like to achieve. Like you love someone, you would like to go near that person, let it be a famous artist. Like, people are just going and trying to get a signature of this artist, right? Nearness is something that human is affectionate towards. Loneliness, we don't like. Nearness with someone we love is what we like. This is how it has been since being a baby. In the middle of night, baby wakes up, cries, mom or dad, come, right? This is innate human need. Who will satisfy this? Ultimately, the whole need for nearness is an invitation that my Creator says, come to me. So I would like to get there. But the Creator is is he near me or is he distant to me? This is an important question. Do you feel your creator's nearness? Is the question. Is the creator at the ufuk, like at the horizon? Horizon meaning so far, far away. When I look, I see horizon, but as I try to get close to horizon, it is the same distance. It's far and far. Yes.
I guess isn't it fluctuating? I'm not to know myself. Isn't it fluctuating and also dependent on, because like, I feel like there's times where I'm like, okay, everything is fine, and there's times where I'm like, I think I'm there, then I'm not there. So I think it fluctuates. I don't think you're always at the horizon, and neither do I think you're always near. You are, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was gonna say that too, like sometimes I feel like God is really close, like sometimes when you're praying, you're able to really connect and feel like you're talking to him, but other times you're just, like, you just feel like he's in close, so it's the same for me.
Could it be this happening at the same time? I am far, far away from my creator, but my creator is near to me. Depending on how I look at it. Like, let me give a very stupid example. I think of my mom as somebody who is living in a certain location and she is like 6,000 miles away. But she calls me and says, well, what's wrong with you? You feel like, I felt like you are going through some trouble today. I was far from her, but she was near to me, I would say. Like, this is something relatable in this case. Another example is, sun is over there. I am far away from sun. I cannot touch sun. But sun is touching me with its lights every moment, every second. It's even closer to me than myself because the sun rays get inside my eye, but I cannot. So sun is closer to me than myself, yet I am far, far away from sun. If I wanted to get close to sun, how long will it take? Even if I was traveling with the best spacecraft or whatever.
8 minutes. 8.5.
At light speed. So not with Tesla rockets, because the rockets, even they are not, we barely landed on Mars after 2 or 3 years of journey with our rockets. So going into sun would take a lot of time for me to go there. But sun is coming to me very quickly. So sun is very near to me, but I am very far away from the sun. And if I say that, well, I would like to learn about sun, how do I do that? There's a joke about this in Turkish. So there was Temel, which is the actor of our jokes, says, let's go to travel to sun. Says, well, we will get there after the sunset when it is cool. So if this is my understanding of sun and I should go there, then in order to experiment with sun, I would say, well, I have to go there to get to know more about sun. But a smarter person, such as Atik, would say that, well, I can observe sun. Sun is already coming to me, so sun is already near. So I can explore sun by sun's nearness, not by my distance. So changing my perception of how to know. وهو بالأفق الأعلى. Initially, he is at the utmost horizon for me. Yes, wherever I look, I see, but he is at the far. ثم دنا فتدلى. Then he starts coming down. As I, like, this is, because Prophet's journey started from Masjid al-Haram ila Masjid al-Aqsa. So Quran talks about this journey, and this is how we initially do our journey. Our journey starts with the food that we eat. Our journey happens through the earth first. But as we get to realize with this journey, we realize his nearness. And this is why in the narrations about Miraj, it says it was a 40 minutes of a journey. It took Prophet to do his ascension in 40 minutes, but his descent was in the blink of an eye. He came back in the blink of an eye. This tells a lot figuratively how the journey happens. Initially, you are trying to get close to the sun. But once you have the journey, you realize that, well, what was I trying to do? He was always near to me. But this, in order to get to this understanding, you do some journey. The more you walk, you realize that the horizon is always horizon. But then you realize, oh, he is near to me, though. His nearness becomes clear to me after a point. This is where you turn back in the blink of an eye. This doesn't mean that, well, without having the first leg of the journey, now that we got the answers from the Prophet, I will sit here and let the realize nearness of the Creator. That's not the moral of the story. We go through both legs of, or potentially we should go both legs of the journey. But this part seems to be describing that. Yes.
You can't just get on top of the Burak.
Burak?
Yeah, you just on the Burak.
Yeah. And this is how Burak is described. Burak is a vehicle. It takes this step here. The next step it takes is at the horizon. But it's horizon. You take the step, still another horizon appears before you. Yes.
It's 2 points because like I had like another here. So you were saying that I mean here it says also like the other traditional tafsirs, it also says like that this is Jibreel. But because the previous ayah says Allamahu shadidul quwa, and usually in the Quran it's God who taught the Prophet, so Allah will asma also like to Adam, and Jibreel was referred to as only the trustee of the wahy. So he was never referred to as the one teaching the Prophet. So this is why this ayah is most rarely referred to Allah and not to Jibreel. And another thing, so after this ayah comes فَمَا كَذَّبَ الْقَلْبُ مَا رَأَى, so the heart cannot like what's called make a lie or make a lie of what it saw. So the fact that it mentions the heart, it means this is more like a spiritual, like it's more the Prophet saw this by his basira and not by like like his eyes, but by his heart. So there's a like it could be the possibility. It's not like really. There's not talking about a physical distance or a physical journey, but it's something that went through like the Prophet went through it through his heart, like not physical through his body.
Inshallah, we will get there. That distinction had been a topic of dispute among scholars, but it's neither nor. I would say both, but inshallah, we will get there. So where are we stopping now? We are stopping at Qab Qawsayn. This is something important because what does it mean that like he descended down, but then there had been a distance of 2 bows? What does this signify really? Inshallah, we should discuss this in terms of the journey of Mi'raj. What does it mean for the Prophet? What would it mean for me? And then أَوْهَا إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْهَا. This abdihi over here is again very important. And inshallah, this is wahi. Wahi appeared for a second time, right? It was in huwa illa wahyu yuha. This was the verse number 4. And now a journey is apparently happening. And at the end of this journey, wahi is starting to happen. What does this mean? For the Prophet and also for me. Because if we take it historically, Prophet received revelation 10 years before historically narrated time of Mi'raj. So this is not the first time revelation is happening. What is happening in here? For the case of prophets, what is happening here for my own case? سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب